Alfred Hitchcock is one of the most iconic filmmakers in the history of cinema. His intriguing horror genre fueled his successful career and marked him as one of the world's greatest directors. Hitchcock was born in 1899 in Leytonstone, England. He had a less than ideal childhood with a not so good relationship with his parents, and a constant battle against obesity which would continue to affect him in his adult years. When he was 15, Hitchcock left college to study at the London Council School of Engineering and Navigation in order to be a draftsman. After that, Hitchcock landed his first job with a telegraph company. This is the point in his life where he began to get interested in cinema. After work, he would watch films and study cinema trade newspapers. Little did he know how significant film would be in his life later on. After the war, he began writing short stories that would be published in his company's in-house magazine. On top of his newfound story-writing hobby, Hitchcock developed an interest in photography as well. The new subject of filmmaking finally got his attention, and he really started to begin his first big steps in film. In 1920, Hitchcock landed a job as a title card designer for a company that would later be known as Paramount Pictures. Hitchcock thrived at his job for the company, and within 5 years, he began producing silent films. His first commercial success was in 1927 with The Lodger, A Story of the London Fog, which was a film about a London serial killer who targeted blonde women. 2 years later, Hitchcock released his 10th film, Blackmail, which was actually his first film with an audio track. The 1930s rolled around, and Hitchcock had established his reputation as one of Britain's best film producers. Films like 39 Steps, Sabotage, and The Lady Vanishes were great successes for Hitchcock. He became a master at creating tension in his films. The fast-moving plots created intense and dramatic scenes, and the audience loved it. Hitchcock also pioneered the use of famous backdrops. For example, the appearance of Mount Rushmore in his film North by Northwest, and the Statue of Liberty in the film Saboteur. In 1939, Hitchcock moved to America and 1 year later released his first American film, Rebecca, which won him an Academy Award for Best Picture. He soon returned to England, where he produced 2 films in French for the Free French Forces. After World War II, he came back to America, where his career of making psychologically intriguing films really took off. Perhaps Hitchcock saw most of his success in the 50s. Films like Dial M for Murder, Rear Window, Vertigo, and Psycho became some of his greatest hits. Psycho was his most profitable film, as it was his best-known film that broke box office records. People could not get enough of the new horror genre of film that Hitchcock so perfectly produced. Hitchcock also took advantage of the television platform, as he hosted a TV series from 1955 to 1965 called Alfred Hitchcock Presents. The series escalated his fame as a director and as a celebrity in general. His films had many features that were unique to Hitchcock's style, and they were very similar to each other. In response to the criticism, Hitchcock would say that self-plagiarism is style. He often portrayed the guilty party as a charming man. Also, his leading female roles were often blondes, like Ingrid Bergman, Grace Kelly, and Tippi Hedren. According to Hitchcock in a CBS TV interview, blondes make the best victims. They're like virgin snow that shows up the bloody footprints. Hitchcock also incorporated humor and traditional cameos into his films. He was nominated for 5 Academy Awards for Best Director, but unfortunately never won one. As Hitchcock aged, he began producing less and less with his deteriorating health. Alfred Hitchcock died of renal failure on April 29, 1980, at his home in Los Angeles. Hitchcock had an incredible filmmaking career. He produced many critically acclaimed films and made the genre of horror a huge success. There are many things that make Hitchcock one of the greatest filmmakers of all time, and he has gone down in history as exactly that.